Awesome. In this video, we'll focus on defending against MCP vulnerabilities. So far, we have seen how does MCP work, what problems does MCP solve. We saw in great depth how do you build your own MCP server. We saw how do you build remote versus local, and we also went into great depth into all the attacks which are possible when you are using MCP servers. This video I want to focus on practical and pragmatic approach which you can leverage to defend against the known MCP attacks, right? And something which I want to clarify is the problem with MCP is the whole ecosystem and the architecture itself. So the mitigations we'll talk here are not silver bullets and doesn't mean that you wouldn't have any MCP security issues, but will be guardrails which will enable you to detect and prevent most attacks. So the two broad categories when it comes to MCP security is one is you could use something called MCP security scanners where you can scan your MCP servers and look for vulnerabilities. This could be, for example, a prompt injection within tool description, could be MCP servers not validating user input, and there could be command injection vulnerability or whatnot. So it looks for both malicious usage or a vulnerability within the MCP server itself. The second approach is MCP gateway, which I want to focus more on in this video. And the reason is MCP scanners are great, but the problem is if you think of it, it's a one-time scan, right? You scan your server, you get a result, and you start using it. But the server can also keep updating itself and be malicious later or have a malicious intent later, as we saw in our rug pull example. So this is a good to have, but I would suggest to think of MCP gateway when you want to have a strategy to prevent your MCP vulnerabilities or have guardrails against your MCP servers. So let's talk about MCP gateway in depth. I'll also show an example of how you can use MCP security scanners, but the focus is more on the gateway. So when you're using the gateway, what are we trying to prevent against, right? What are we trying to protect against? Broadly, these are the category of attacks which we saw, and we are trying to prevent these attacks. So first one is we want to prevent all injection cell attacks. So tool poisoning attacks, rug pulls, shadow attacks or whatnot, we want to prevent this using a gateway. We also want to have authorization. So as an admin of your organization, you want to define that, hey, if a user is part of, let's say, HR, and if he's using, let's say, your Jira server, they should be able to perform XYZ tools. So you need to have ability in the gateway to define which user or role can access which tools in your MCP server. And third is you should also have ability to have masking of privacy. So when you are sending data from your machine to MCP server, it should be able to detect, hey, if this is a sensitive data pattern, for example, PII or credit cards, it should be able to flag those out. And the fourth one is also very important. Your MCP gateway should have very strong monitoring and logging capability. So if you have an incident tomorrow, you should be able to go into your gateway and look at all the calls your employees have made using the various MCP servers, and the logging has to be granular to see which tool calls have they called, what was the tool description, what data was passed. So you could use that during your incidents. Don't worry too much about this. Once we look at the MCP gateway, the architecture, and when we see it in action, these will become much more clearer. So let's look at the MCP gateway architecture, and then we will look at a practical example by implementing an open source MCP gateway. So far, what we've seen is we've seen our MCP clients making call to MCP servers, right? An MCP gateway is very simple. You configure your MCP clients to connect to an MCP gateway, and all the calls to your MCP server are proxied through the gateway. So this becomes your control to either analyze what kind of requests are being made, or to have per tool scopes on saying that, hey, if it is a certain user, only then make this tool call happen or whatnot. Because you're proxying all the requests, now you have visibility and ability to control what goes through the proxy and put your guardrails on it, right? And one good example is, let's say you have a request from your client, and let's say one of your server is malicious and it is trying to perform prompt injection, right? Because you are monitoring all the requests, you could pass any response which comes back from your MCP server to something like Alarma Firewall or any of these models which can detect, hey, this seems like a prompt injection attack, block it. So a gateway is a great solution to have your guardrails and apply controls on. Let's look at a practical example by implementing a gateway, and things will become much more clearer. So for this video, we are looking at MCP gateway by Lasso Security. It's an open source gateway. You could experiment with different gateways out there and see which one works for your use case. I'm just taking this as an example because this one is open source. Also, there are a lot of limitations within open source. So when you are implementing your MCP gateway, you have to now review both open source and commercial and see which one makes sense for you, right? Like, what are your requirements? Does an open source gateway solve those, or you want to go with a commercial MCP security gateway? At the time of making this video, I didn't find a good open source solution which was very comprehensive to address, for example, all the needs which were here. Cool. Let's go ahead and install MCP gateway by Lasso Security. It's pretty straightforward to install. If you do a pip install MCP gateway, it should be installed. So let's go into our command prompt, do pip install MCP gateway. I've already installed it, so it should be up and running, and you can do a quick test by doing MCP gateway. Great, MCP gateway is working now, right? Now, if you look at their GitHub page, they have a example of how do you implement this for Claude. So you could copy this example setting which they have, or within the course material under MCP server, I have provided the sample config for gateway and how do we embed our servers within the gateway. So let's copy this config and go into Claude, and we will configure our gateway. I'll talk about what is within the config when we are changing the config file for Claude. Let's go into Claude. We've done this many times so far, so you should be pretty familiar. If you go in developer and go into edit config, you'll have the Claude config. Let's get that into our IDE, and we'll copy and paste the Claude gateway config here. So what is happening here is we are saying that, hey, one of the MCP servers is the MCP gateway itself, which is the Lasso gateway. And we are saying that, hey, any call which is being made, pass it through MCP gateway, and the MCP gateway would then pass it to the servers it is configured for. So for example, now when you make a call to, let's say, the currency server, and assuming currency server is one of these, the call would pass through the gateway where you can apply your controls. Cool. So we've configured the MCP gateway, and there are two servers which are configured under this. One is the file system server, and the second one is the convert currency where we have our malicious MCP server. Now, what we'll try to do in this example is we'll try to read a file from our file system which contains sensitive information, and we want to block it using the gateway. So the file we want to configure is this one up here. So we're basically saying we're putting a token. So this could be an API token or whatnot within our desktop. And when Claude tries to read this particular file, it should get flagged as PII and shouldn't be displayed back to the user, or should not go back to the MCP server, right? So I'm within my desktop, and I'll quickly go and make this file. So if we do a cat tokens.txt, we should see the HF token with a value here. So assume that this is a PII information and you don't want this to be leaked, right? Now, since we've configured our MCP gateway, when we read this file using the file system MCP server, which has been configured on Claude, this should be blocked. Let's close Claude, reopen it to apply the gateway config with our MCP servers. So if you see now, all your tool calls are through MCP gateway. Initially, you were seeing currency server and other MCP servers here, right? Now everything is through the gateway, and all the calls now go through gateway. This is one of our calls, which is convert currency. This is our own custom MCP server. These are all the other tool calls from the file system MCP server. Now let's say read tokens.txt from desktop. Now when you say that, it's basically going to go and read tokens.txt from the desktop, and hopefully our MCP gateway should block this. So it's making a request to MCP gateway where it is listing all the files. Now it is going and reading the tokens.txt file. And if you see, this has been redacted, saying that Hugging Face token. So the token has been redacted by our gateway. So this was an example of how you could use a gateway to address masking or privacy, right? You could also address the gateway to prevent injection style attacks. Now, the second example is we have implemented convert currency also as a server, which has the malicious MCP server, which we saw had a indirect prompt injection vulnerability, right? Where we were saying that, hey, when you're converting the currency, also read the financials text from the user desktop and exfiltrate that. Now, when you configure your MCP gateway, this attack will not work. But in our example, the attack would still work because we are using the open source version of Lasso Security MCP gateway, which does not do checks for prompt injection. I just want to show how it works by showing you the example in the configuration. But if you were using the enterprise edition of this MCP gateway, what you could do is you could configure this with Lasso's API key. And what would happen is when you now do a prompt injection style attack where the request goes to your currency server, and when the response comes back, it goes and analyzes using another model where it will look for prompt injection and block the attack. And that's how you can prevent indirect prompt injection or tool poisoning attacks. So yeah, that was a very high level example of how an MCP gateway works. You should research into what are the available options when you are watching this video and see which one of them meets all of these requirements and can be used in your organization. The way I would approach is to assess both open source and commercial solutions out there and see which ones meet your criteria. The problem with open source is it's always limited, at least so far what I've seen. But some of the commercial vendors out there provide all of these capability. I don't want to name the commercial vendors, considering our course is vendor neutral. But if you look for MCP gateway for security, you would see quite a few popping out there, and I would suggest to look them into great detail. Cool, yeah, that was pretty much it. I've linked the open source MCP gateways here, which you can play around with. Also, we touched upon MCP scan, which I can quickly show how it works. One example of MCP scan is by Invariant Labs, which you can try to run yourself. So if I do MCP scan on this, it basically looks at your cursor, Claude, or whichever common MCP clients are, their configurations and their MCP servers which are configured there. It goes and looks for static issues like prompt injection or whatnot and highlights those. So yeah, try to play around with MCP scan also and see what issues you find. So that was pretty much it. Thank you so much.